Good morning, guys. Good morning. Nice to see you guys. Wow, it has been a few days, guys, and kind of crazy things have been going on. So I apologize for not being live. I want to be live, and I want for you guys to be able to count on me to be here. So I'm working on that. But every now and then, I think that's going to happen. So, anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. Thanks for joining. If you don't see the little live button, that means you're on replay. And thank you for coming in and watching on replay too. Either way works just fine. If you're hopping in, give me a comment. Let me know that you're here, and we can have a little chat. All right, let's get started. So this morning, you might have seen some pumpkins made from these little splatter screens that come from the Dollar Tree. They're for cooking. You put them over, your pot, your skillet, so that it doesn't get everything covered. So I have 3 of those little splatter screens. I bought one with a handle so that it can actually stand on its own. So when the other 2 pieces are on it, it's going to stabilize it so it will stand up. So this is kind of an awkward angle for you guys to be above, but we'll make it work. So I have 3 of those splatter screens. I did get 2 of the splatter screens that had a little handle on it, and I've taken the handles off. Okay. So I have 3 of those splatter screens, and I had some orange burlap that I bought on the bolt. So I cut out 3 of those, 3 circles. So I just took a pencil and actually traced around it and then cut it out. So that's where we're at. So what I want to do now is I want to hot glue the burlap to my screen. So I'm basically just going to use the screen as my platform. It's going to become the pumpkin. All right. Then we'll hook these 3 together so they look like a pumpkin shape, and we'll secure those with a little bit of picture wire and a couple of spots so that it doesn't come apart. I don't want to trust the hot glue to hold the whole thing together. And then we're going to embellish the outlines with some jute cord. And I have this thinner cord and I have some thicker cord. So we'll see which one looks best. I'm not sure right now which one I think is going to look best. If you're hopping on, let me know how the setup looks. I think you guys are a little more centered over the project. That's been a challenge. I've changed my tripod, and trying to figure out how to make this work best has been a little challenging. But we will figure it out, and I appreciate you guys being patient and also just telling me when something's not working well. If you can't see, that's important for me to know. I'm going to grab some of these finger protectors from the Dollar Tree. You can find those at the Dollar Tree. I think you get 3 for $1. It's a very good investment. So I am just going to start here at the bottom with my hot glue. This is a really old hot glue gun. I did invest in a new one, but unfortunately the cord is really short, so I need to get my setup better so that I need to get an extension cord in here. I haven't done that yet. All right. So that's starting to take hold. So I'm just going to go around the edge. And I want it to be pretty well covered. I don't want that fabric to be able to move around. So I'm going to try to get that hot glue going all the way around with no real gaps. This is a larger scale pumpkin, so, and everything that it's made of should really hold up outside, so I'm thinking that this might go on my porch. You could put it in your house. It would actually be cute on the floor because it is larger scale. If you don't have a lot of places like tabletop surfaces where you would put something this large. Let's see, the splatter screens. I'm sitting here on my measuring table. So the splatter screens are 12 inches. So it's going to be about 2 feet wide when we are done with it. So it's going to be kind of a presence piece. It's going to take up some space. And I think they're really cute. Cute idea. Not my idea. Definitely a borrowed idea. But I'll put my own little spin on it. I don't think I've seen one covered with burlap. I've seen people paint them orange. I've seen people put lace on them. But I had some burlap that I had gotten a little bit extra when I ordered for a different project. We haven't done that project yet. I'm excited about doing that project with the burlap too. It's a pumpkin wreath, so I'm going to have to get that one going. Alright, so it looks like this one is ready. I've got the first screen with the burlap on it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this idea. Alright, so it is on there really well. It looks pretty nice and neat. And when we attach the other two pieces, it will stand up together. Alright, let's quickly do these other two. I guess I could have had these two done. That would have sped up our process a little bit. But this will let you see exactly how much time it'll take for this project. And now that I've done one, I'm thinking it'll go pretty fast. Let's see. Should I be doing it one way or the other? Maybe I'll keep going in the same. Actually, I think I like it. No, that probably will be good. Okay, doing the same thing. I'm just going to lay that on, right on the edge. I was thinking about pumpkin patch stories. Growing up, I didn't really have pumpkin patch stories. We would get our pumpkins just from the grocery store, so we didn't go out to the fields or anything to get a pumpkin. But my children, growing up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have always taken our kids to the pumpkin patch and had that experience with the corn maze, and we have a local place to go and get pumpkins. And this summer, my husband and I are growing pumpkins and corn, and so that's been fun. It's been fun thinking about being a pumpkin patch for our grandkids. So we will be a little bit of a pumpkin patch. I was just out looking at them yesterday. The pumpkin plants have blossoms. We planted our pumpkins a little bit late, so they're going to be kind of arriving just in time for Halloween and fall decorating. But our garden has really been a blessing this year to us, and we've tried to make it a blessing to our friends and family as well. My husband and I have 4 kids between us that live here locally who are able to actually partake of the garden. That's been fun. And 2 grandkids who live locally, so they have enjoyed coming to the garden and picking and eating, and they even did some rock picking for us early this spring. So we appreciated that. And it's been fun to see the wildlife in the yard, how it's really multiplied with having this garden. There's way more wildlife than there was before. It is summer, so of course there's always going to be more things in the yard, but I believe there are just more things visiting our yard. And when we run the sprinklers, it's fun to watch the birds flit through the sprinkler to get a little water. If you don't have a garden, you should really consider planting something next spring. It does not take a lot of space to plant something edible. And there's just something magical about planting seeds and having something grow. Alright, almost done with this part. So I have 3 splatter screens from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make a pumpkin from them. You might have seen this idea. It's roaming around the internet. Kind of cute, basic way to make a pumpkin. And I've used orange burlap to give my pumpkin a pumpkin-y feel. And we'll do a little bit more to embellish him so that he looks more like a pumpkin. Okay, so I'm going to do this from the back side because I did get one splatter screen that has the handle. So I'm going to arrange them like this so that you can see the back as I am. Oop, that's not the way it should go. That's the way it should go. Good thing I looked. Getting ready to make a mess of my pumpkin. Okay. So we're wanting to make those pumpkin, the lines of a pumpkin, right? That you can see the lines that make that shape. And I've got some wire that I want to wire my pumpkin with. So I'm going to clip off a little bit of wire. And this is just steel wire made for picture hanging. I have some pretty heavy duty stuff. That's just what we had. But you wouldn't really have to have, that strong a gauge. You could go with something a little bit simpler. a little bit lighter. Okay, now I need to look at this and figure out again exactly how I want this to look. Like I said, it's been a few crazy days. I've headed back into my work scenario, and my sister's been in the hospital, so my brain has not been thinking much about crafts the last few days. But we will focus, and we will get this little pumpkin pulled together. Okay, so I'm going to push my wire through, and then I'm going to pull it through this guy. Now I can do this at the top because I'm going to put embellishments around the top, so you're not going to see my wire in the end. I just want to make it a little bit flexible, so right now I have these two pieces wired together. Okay, so it's poked through the front at the top, and I'm poking it around this wire edge because that's nice and sturdy. All right, so I'm going to twist that a little bit, but I'm going to leave it not too tight because I may want to do some adjustments to it. So I'm going to cut that off. You're going to need some wire cutters, something that has a piece, an edge where you can cut your wire. So look in the garage and see what you have for some kind of wire cutter. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm just going to poke through this side and go up through the top. Again, I'm going to keep it close to the top because I am going to put a stem. Sorry, I'm sitting there where you can't see. I am going to put a stem at the top and some leaves and a bow. So if I put my wires at the top, I'm not gonna see them, and I'm gonna leave some extra on the ends so that I can tighten those or adjust those. So let's take a look. Okay, so that's given us the beginnings of that pumpkin shape. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing down at the bottom, and I can also put some leaves down at the bottom if I want to, if I need to hide any of the wire. Trying to poke this through, it's kind of, I think I'm poking through hot glue is my problem right there. Alright, but I got through. You're just poking through both pieces of the mesh wire splatter frame, and then I'm twisting it. Take a look on this side. I know I put a little bit of a hole down here at the bottom, but I could cover that with and my piece of jute that's going to come around, I think, will hide it too. All right. Thanks for staying with me. I appreciate. I have one person watching that I can see, so thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy the idea of this craft. Like I said, it's not my original idea, it's just an idea that I saw and thought would be fun to try. If you're a crafter, you might want to give it a try as well. And you can look them up on Pinterest, splatter pumpkin, or splatter, what's it called, a splatter cover. That's it. Splatter cover pumpkin. Okay, so that feels pretty secure. I need to bend this back just a little bit more. That'll make it stand up a little better. I might need to put something heavy on the back to make it stand up. When I was playing around with it before, it felt like it was going to stand fine, but it looks like it's going to need something to help it stand up. But we can do that pretty easily. I know I have some books that I could just put behind. Probably just need one book to sit on that handle, and it would give it enough pressure to keep it up. All right, I'm just going to tuck behind my wires here, tucking those back so they're not going to be a problem while I'm doing this part. Okay, I'm going to look at my jute and decide which I want. If I want this thinner jute or if I want this thicker jute. I think I want the thicker. It's more presence to it. So I think I'll use that. And I'm trying to remember where I got this jute. I might have gotten this at Hobby Lobby, but you can find jute just about everywhere. Walmart has jute. Don't pay a lot for it. I would say before you buy it, compare prices, because some places ask a lot for some basic supplies. So know your prices. Know what you're willing to pay. I'm sure you can find jute on Amazon. All right, perfect. So that big jute is going to cover up. I had a little bit of a bobble there, caused a little hole in my burlap. So I will cut that off. I'm not going to worry about this piece. Has a little tape on it. I'm not going to worry about that, taking it off, because you're not going to see it. That's going to go under. That's going to go with my stem and all of that other stuff I've told you that we're going to put there. So I'm going to start by tacking right here at the bottom, tacking my jute, and I want to get right at the bottom edge. So it's not showing any of that splatter screen. I really want to disguise this. I don't want anybody to be able to pick it out immediately what it is. Now, if you've made one of these, you know it's a splatter screen, and that's okay. If you're hopping on to watch, make sure you leave me a comment so I know who's watching, and tell me about your pumpkin patch experiences. Like I said, I grew up in Oklahoma, and we did not go to the pumpkin patch. I don't even know if there was a pumpkin patch. I don't know of one where I grew up. But my kids definitely got that experience here in the Pacific Northwest. They got to experience the pumpkin patch, and that's been a fun tradition for our family. Do you have pumpkin patches where you are? And did you have them when you were growing up? I'd be interested to know. I'm sure that the pumpkin patch would be different in the olden days, more long ago. Entertaining children wasn't the highest of priorities. At least not that kind of entertainment with lots of money flowing and all of that. Our pumpkin patch experience with our kids was not a huge high dollar event. but I can see all of these pumpkin patches that are kind of going in that direction of having a more commercialized experience. All right, so we have that piece on, and it definitely gives you the feeling of a pumpkin. So let's get these two edges with their jute and get that effect going over here. I teach kindergarten, and every year I teach kindergartners how to draw a pumpkin, and we use this idea of, just like the jute, I teach them how to draw a pumpkin kind of like this, using those natural segments that you find on a pumpkin. It helps kids understand that when you're drawing, you're just drawing shapes. Everything's made of shapes. And as a crafter, you kind of think about that too. When I'm thinking about creating something original, or even as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the shapes that I needed to use and to follow. If my pumpkin was going to be believable, it needed to have some certain shapes. That's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of trying to be believable. Does our design look like what we say it is? Looks like I need a little bit of, cut this off just a little bit. It's a little bit big there. All right, and that top piece I'm not going to worry about too much. It is going to get covered up. Okay, let's get this last little piece of our outline ready to go. I'm trying to leave my jute inside this contained piece. I like having jute contained so that it doesn't go crazy all by itself on its own. Looks like I need another glue stick. I'll grab one of those. Well, it's Saturday. What do you guys have going on this Saturday? We are winding down in the Pacific Northwest. Our school is starting virtually in a couple of weeks. But I know if you live in other places in the country, school has probably already started. I hope your school year is off to a good start. We're excited as teachers to get back and start this new school year with all of its challenges. We're still excited. I'm excited to meet my kindergartners and start teaching and learning and growing. And I guess that's the beautiful thing, is that even though we aren't going to have our usuals, we're still gonna teach, and they're still gonna learn. Because kids learn. Doesn't matter where they are, they will learn. Because they, like us, like adults, have that natural curiosity, and they want to learn. They really want to know. When I teach kindergarten and I teach science, The kids love science. They love learning about the real world. We teach about plants and animals the first trimester, and the kids eat that up. We plant some seeds, and anything that I teach about the real world, they are just excited, so excited to learn about. Okay, well, we've got our outside for our pumpkin, and he looks pretty cute. Now, I am seeing a little bit of the silver. I might come around with another piece of jute and cover that. It's not something I see from the front, but it is something I see a little bit from the side. So I'll have to decide if I'm okay with that or not. And you'd have to decide too how you like that look. But let's go ahead and do some decorating. I need to grab I've got some wired ribbon, and I'm going to grab that for the top of my pumpkin. I didn't grab that out of my ribbon stash yet, so let me grab that really quickly. Hopefully I can do that without just causing a bunch of crashes and noise. Let's see. Got a couple of different things. Let me grab a couple of different things and we'll try and see what we like. So I've got this wired ribbon that I was thinking about using as the stem because I can basically scrunch it and shape it. I also have this dark green burlap too. So I'm thinking about using this kind of wire mesh to create kind of a stem shape. Scoot this guy up a little bit so you can see me play with this a little bit. And I'm thinking about just creating something that looks like this. So this is a floral ribbon. That's what the tag looks like, and that's the skew. So if you're interested in finding that, that's trying to remember if I found that at Joann's or at Hobby Lobby. I'm not 100% sure which one. But I kind of liked the idea of just making this go like this and then just bending it a little bit. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Amy. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining me this morning. I've been a little AWOL lately, so thanks for joining in. All right, so we have been creating, for those of you who just joined us, we have been creating a splatter screen pumpkin. So if you haven't seen this on something else, these are just little splatter screens you can get from the Dollar Tree. I got two that had the handles on top, and then I bought one that has the handle on that would be sticking out, and I just bent it backwards, okay? I think Thomas must be watching. I see fun emojis. That's my grandkids joining in and giving me some fun emojis that make me go, who is laughing? Oh, that's got to be my grandkids. All right, so I have kind of created a stem using this floral wired ribbon, and it's nice because it's wired and I can just basically make it go however I want. So you know how stems of pumpkins are, you know, go however they want. So I'm thinking I'll do something like that, but I'm thinking I might need to wire that on because it's not going to be very much surface area to to glue. So I'm going to grab another little piece of my wire, and that's how I held my splatter covers together. I wired them together in 4 spots. It's very simple. So if you missed anything, come back and watch it on replay. You can see how I did it, but I haven't done anything different than if you've seen somebody else making these. You've probably seen the instructions. So I'm just going to pop my piece of wire right through the top here if I can. Got to get around some of that hot glue. That might be something I would do a little bit differently. I might put my wire on before I put the burlap on. So I put some burlap to cover my splatter screens. That's the one thing I feel like I've done a little bit differently than some other of these projects that I've seen. I haven't seen burlap used like this. Doesn't mean it hasn't been done. This is just what this was what I had in my head as my own idea to make it my own. And I'm just twisting that back, trying to get the stem in 2 different places connected so it's got a nice strong catch. And then I probably will do some hot gluing too. So I've got that going. I'm just kind of playing around with the wire, trying to get it to go the direction I want it to go so that I can pull that base right down like this. That is my goal. Well, thanks for joining us. One of my questions this morning was, did you go to the pumpkin patch when you were a kid? I'm curious if anybody from my generation had pumpkin patch, like any kind of a pumpkin patch that was kind of a commercial pumpkin patch, or maybe just a farmer who said, yeah, come on over and get pumpkins. I know in my childhood we didn't do that. We bought pumpkins at the grocery store, which is interesting because I grew up in a rural area. But I'm assuming that the farmers probably didn't grow pumpkins in a large-scale way because they were wheat farmers there. Oh, Amy, awesome. I'm glad you bought the stuff for this. I did too. I've been waiting to do it for a while. Kept thinking, oh, I need to do that. And hesitated, and then finally was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that splatter screen thing. So this is kind of ugly to watch, but it's just kind of figure it out. What's going to make it look like, what's going to make the stem stand up. And that's just kind of a process. And my hot glue around the edge is definitely inhibiting where I can put my wire. So I'll probably play around with that a little bit more after I get off here. I think I'll go ahead and add some hot glue, see if I can get that a little more stable. I am going to add some leaves. So they're going to cover up some of this top part. It would probably help if I had a little thinner wire. All I had on hand was some heavy-duty wire that we use for picture hanging. So you might want some thin wire. And I say wire because it'd be easier to poke the wire through the mesh than just about anything else. I guess you could use a sewing needle. You can maybe do that. Okay, well I kind of like that fun little stem. There's lots of ideas of ways, different things you could do for a stem, but I kind of like the way he looks. So I think I'll leave him there, just like that. Let's go ahead and decorate a little bit. I'm going to grab some leaves. I picked up some leaves at Hobby Lobby, but I know they also have have similar leaves at the Dollar Tree. So if you wanted to make this a full Dollar Tree project, you probably could. These are from Hobby Lobby, but they look just like the Dollar Tree ones. So I'm thinking I'll put a few of these on. Maybe I'll get oh, I like that too. You know I like oranges, different orange colors. I'm very much partial to orange. And let's do a fun bow. So those will go on like that. And I'm looking at my different fall ribbons to see what would be really pretty on there. I have a Thanksgiving one that we could do. Maybe we'll do this plaid. It would really pick up all these colors. Let's give it a try. And I'm going to do a little bit different bow today. I'm going to do an Olivia bow. If you watch any dollar store videos, you might have seen this gal. She does really amazing Dollar Tree projects. So to make an Olivia bow, she does about, I think she says about, I'm going to do about a 7-inch. So make that about 7 inches. And then she just folds it over several times. Yeah, that'll be good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we've looped it over 5 times. I'll show you this up a little bit close so you can see. Okay, so I have just made it 5 or 7 inches, and I have just looped it over several times. So I just took it like here, and I just kept looping over and over. So I just have a pile of my ribbons. Now I'm going to find the middle, and it's called the Olivia bow because this is kind of her creation. So I'm going to cut a little notch towards the middle. I don't want to go all the way. And I'm going to cut a little notch again towards the middle, leaving enough space so it's not going to rip. And then I'm going to take a little piece of jute, or you could use a pipe cleaner, and I'm going to tie that. Can you guys see how I'm just tying that in the middle, right where I did that cut? I'm going to tie a little knot to keep that all together. Now that's secure. Cut off those tails. Okay, and now I can just pull out these fluffs, pull out these pieces out from underneath, and I'm going to have this ribbon may not be the best for this. This is Dollar Tree ribbon, and I've done it with some other ribbon, but this is not holding up very well. I may have cut it too deep too. We're going to try a plan B. That did not go very well. That was not a good demonstration of the Olivia bow. Let's try a different bow. All right. The other way you can do a bow is like this. So I'm going to scrunch there. I'm gonna come around and scrunch here. Let's scrunch. And let's scrunch. That gives me some ribbon. Yeah, let's try this a little bit. Let's make that tail a little longer. Now that I can see how much ribbon I have. If you're looking for the Olivia bow, I'm trying to remember what her channel is or her page is called. I think it's Olivia's, I don't know. Look up Olivia and Dollar Tree and you can probably see it. Good morning, Sally. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we'll just get our ribbon going here. And get this tape off. And let's get another piece of our jute to wrap around our bow. So if you've been watching any crafting videos, you've probably seen these splatter screen pumpkins. They're definitely a fun idea. It's kind of a launching point that you can use your imagination and come up with your own version of the splatter tree pumpkin. Splatter screen, not splatter tree. Brain is really struggling to keep up this morning. All right, let's kind of fluff. Sorry, I'm fluffing outside this camera. All right, let's make these with a little bit of a tail. Give them the dovetail look. This is Dollar Tree ribbon, so definitely an affordable ribbon. Dollar Tree has a lot of fun seasonal things. If you haven't checked out Dollar Tree in a while, you should definitely go check them out. All right. So this is going to give this a little more pizzazz up here at the top. So let's get our leaves on. The leaves have a little wire piece that I can pop right over however I want them to go on. The wire screen makes it nice for it to actually go through. And these actually have the wire so that you can shape the leaf in the direction you want it to go as well. So that's pretty nice. The Dollar Tree does have these leaves as well. And they have the wire and they are nice. That's one thing that I think Dollar Tree does as well as the other stores that have these. Not thrilled with my bow. It's not exactly performing for me the way I would like it to, but I will do a little playing around with that and make it the way I like it. I do have my jute on here, so I'm going to tie that to my stem. If you missed any of this, go back and watch on replay. You can see kind of my process for making my splatter tree pumpkin. And then you can create your own idea for how you want yours to look. You know what, I think I want to scoot that away from there because I can't see my stem. So I'm going to hook my bow in with some of this wire that's back here that I wired my mesh screens together with. Okay. Let's take a look. So this is, good morning Christy, thanks for joining us. So this is kind of a finished look. I will play around with that bow a little bit to get it to lay the way I like it. But I hope you like the splatter screen pumpkin. Very simple. You can see on the back kind of how I've constructed it. Just need a little bit of wire, like picture wire, and I used a little bit of burlap, orange burlap, and some jute. So pretty simple stuff. If you're a crafter, you probably have a lot of this at home. You might just need a few embellishments, but I hope you enjoyed this. To stand up, it's just going to need like a book sitting back here. I bought one screen that has the handle, and if you just bend it back, it will lean back, and I can put a book, and it will then stand up. So I'm thinking this will look really cute on my porch, be nice and welcoming. Dollar Tree does have some little words that are in like little metal words. You could put a sentiment here. I just really like the pumpkin by itself. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did and you make one, make sure you put a picture in our VIP group. I would love to see your splatter screen pumpkin, and I'd love to see what you create. If you think someone else would enjoy this video, please sprinkle the love. That helps my page, and it helps your friend to see something fun for them to have an idea to do. Thanks guys, I appreciate it so much. I hope you guys get out there and make it a great day. Bye guys.